Without warning, without major publicity, and without a grand stage setup, Jin, the BTS member known for his calmness, suddenly appeared on Instagram Live. The surprise wasn't just his appearance, but what he said during the broadcast. In less than a minute, Jin captivated thousands of fans glued to their screens, and within 5 minutes, tears started flowing. He wasn't promoting a new song nor sharing news about BTS. He came for one thing, to say goodbye to his best friend, Cha Eun Woo. What fans witnessed that night wasn't just an ordinary live stream. It was a real, honest, and emotional farewell. Jin, usually cheerful and witty, looked different. His face was bare, his voice hoarse, and his eyes slightly swollen. He opened the broadcast with a simple yet shocking sentence. "Today, someone very close to me is starting his difficult journey. And I couldn't let him go without saying something in front of all of you." Comments immediately flooded in. "Eun Woo? Is this about his military service? Why do you look so sad, Jin?" But Jin didn't answer any of them. He closed his eyes for a moment, then sighed deeply to end the broadcast. Jin didn't speak as a celebrity to his fans. He spoke as a friend, as an older brother, as a human being about to be separated from someone he considered family. He referred to Eun Woo as someone younger than me, but often feels much more mature. Jin reminisced about their nights together, undocumented late-night conversations, and small acts of kindness never reported by the media. He recounted times when Eun Woo secretly came to Jin's training location during his military service, just to bring food and silently keep him company. He didn't say anything for the first 10 minutes, but I knew that was his way of saying, "I'm here for you." Jin said with a bitter smile. The broadcast lasted over 30 minutes, an unusual duration for Jin amidst his busy schedule. But not a single second felt empty. His words were so sincere, so human, and most touching, so unpretentious. Fans realized they weren't watching an idol perform. They were witnessing a man expressing his loss for his best friend. Jin conveyed how heavy Eun Woo felt before his enlistment day. Not because of fear of physical challenges, but because of worry about being forgotten. "I could see that fear in his eyes," Jin said. He didn't say it directly, but I knew. He was afraid fans would forget him, that he would come back and no one would care anymore. Then came the sentence that shattered all the viewers' emotional walls. "If you see this someday, Woo, no one will forget you. Not today. Not tomorrow. Never." Comments exploded. "I'm crying," one user wrote. "Why does this feel like losing someone forever?" wrote another. Hashtags like #FarewellEunWoo, #JinLive, and #WeWillWaitForYou immediately trended on social media, not only in Korea but also in various other countries. The moment touched millions who may never have met the two, but felt close because of the honesty radiating from their phone screens. Interestingly, throughout the broadcast, Jin barely mentioned himself. His focus was solely on Eun Woo. He expressed his admiration for his friend's courage to leave the spotlight and enter the disciplined and restrictive world of the military. Many think going to the military is just a 2-year break from the entertainment world. But for us, whose lives are built on public attention, it's like disappearing. Jin said with a bitter tone. He closed the broadcast with a soft sentence, almost a whisper. "See you, my brother." Without background music, without visual effects, without celebration, only silence. The comments, usually full of emojis and song requests, paused for a moment. Fans didn't know what to type. They could only watch and feel. Many say the broadcast was one of the most honest moments Jin ever showed the public. Not because he told a lot, but because he showed more with his silence and tears. He didn't try to be a hero in someone else's story, nor did he use the opportunity to strengthen his image. He just wanted to make sure his friend knew that he was heard, seen, and loved, Jin's decision to use his platform to honor Eun Woo wasn't just a friendly act. It was a form of emotional bravery in an industry that often demands resilience over honesty. In one night, Jin reminded the world that idols aren't stage robots. They are humans who can be hurt, lose, and miss. After the broadcast, discussions about emotional transparency and mental health in the K-pop world resurfaced. Many fans, even international media, called the moment a shift in direction in how idols interact with the public. In a culture that often hides weaknesses, Jin showed that emotional honesty isn't a weakness, but a true strength. Although many fans hoped for an official archive of the broadcast, Jin didn't save it. No recording, no highlights, no reposts. As if he wanted that moment to happen only once, for those who were truly present. However, the trace of his emotions was too deep to be forgotten. Now, as Eun Woo undergoes his military training and Jin returns to his activities with BTS, the words of that night still resonate. Not as propaganda, not as motivational quotes, but as a reminder that even in a world full of spotlight and expectations, there's room for pure love and sincere farewells. And perhaps that's the most beautiful legacy of that broadcast, a farewell that didn't bring sadness, but left behind courage. However, now, after the emotions have subsided and the fans' tears have dried, one question remains unavoidable. Did this touching farewell moment actually happen? Or was it all just part of a viral narrative formed, intentionally or unintentionally, by the power of social media and the collective desire to witness something too beautiful to be untrue? Video recordings of the live broadcast never officially surfaced. There's no official archive from Jin's Instagram account. There are no visual clips verified by the agency or mainstream media. Everything we know about the moment comes from descriptions spreading on TikTok, Twitter, X, YouTube Shorts, even fan forums on Reddit and Discord communities. Is this enough as a basis for truth? Is it strong enough to make millions believe they witnessed something that changed the emotional landscape of K-pop? If you are one of those who read this story and felt touched, when was the last time you verified its source? Did you check Jin's official Instagram account? Seek confirmation from BTS's agency, HYB labels? Or did you, like many others, immediately believe the snippets of text that felt real because they were packaged with emotional and touching language? This isn't just a trivial question. It's a gamble between trust and truth. If this story is true, then we witnessed one of the most honest and humane moments from a South Korean idol. But if not, if it's all just a cleverly crafted narrative by fans, amateur journalists, or even AI content writers, then we must ask, how much influence do false narratives have in shaping our emotions and perceptions today? In an age when a single TikTok post can ignite a global wave of tears, and a single Twitter thread can create a trending topic in 2 minutes, what does truth mean? If a story makes us cry, but it turns out never to have actually happened, are our tears still valid? Are our emotions misplaced? Let's reflect together. This story feels so real because Jin and Cha Eun Woo are indeed known to be close and respectful of each other. Military service events are always emotional moments in the K-pop world. The unfiltered live stream format is very identical to honest and unconstructed moments. The collective emotions of the fans often strengthen the illusion that if many feel the same thing, then it must be real. But can shared feelings replace factual truth? A viral comment on TikTok even wrote, "I can feel Jin's sadness just from this text description." But that's not proof. It's an emotional reaction to a narrative. So, how can we differentiate between emotional narratives and factual events? Have you ever thought that this might be a very carefully designed scenario? Jin's words, mentioning he's younger than me but often feels more mature, is a very universal sentence that can be applied to anyone's relationship. The story of a best friend secretly coming with food, crying silently, and uttering meaningful last words. All of that is an emotional template that can easily move anyone. So, who actually created this story? Was it Jin? Cha Eun Woo? Their management? Fans? Journalists? Or the algorithm media that knows exactly how to cultivate attention and make you pause on a video for more than 15 seconds? We want to emphasize that the information we have presented so far comes from various pieces and posts scattered on social media like TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, and other fan communities. However, there has been no direct confirmation, primary source validation, or official documentation that can prove that the broadcast actually happened. Therefore, the only form of honesty we can offer you is, doubt we live in an information age that moves faster than verification. Therefore, do we still know how to stop for a moment and ask, is this real? It doesn't mean we shouldn't feel moved, sad, or inspired by a story. But let's ask the following questions before we spread, affirm, or even build a collective memory of a narrative. Who first spread this story? Is there publicly accessible audiovisual evidence? Did mainstream media confirm this event? Did the official BTS or ASDRO accounts issue a statement? Do our current emotions come from real experiences or just a narrative constructed to feel real? These questions are not just for skepticism's sake, but this is a form of love for honest information, for the artists we admire, and for the fan community that is vulnerable to being swept away by false stories. Because when we accept untrue stories as reality, we are not only deceived, we contribute to creating noise that covers up real stories that are more deserving to be heard. Therefore, we invite you readers, fans, listeners of narratives to rethink. Reflect again. Did you watch the broadcast yourself? Or did you only read about it? If you're not sure, what does that mean for how we absorb and share news today? Finally, we must return to the starting point and ask, if a story touches us so deeply but turns out to be untrue, will we be disappointed or feel deceived? This is where reflection is important, not only on what we believe, but how we believe. And to all the fans who are now wondering, we don't blame your emotions. We only invite, let's love our idols critically, not just with blind faith. Because conscious and vigilant love is the highest form of respect, not only to Jin and Cha Eun Woo, but also to ourselves as story enjoyers. Thank you for watching, and please continue to make skepticism an ally on your journey to find the truth.